Hello, everybody. Today we have the Ancient Warriors plus Winged Dragon of Ra video that I promised in my previous Marincess video. So this Ancient Warriors and Ra is a deck I've been experimenting with on my alternative slash Smurf account, just because I want to retain my high rank on my main account, and I don't want to risk that high rank by playing an even jankier pile of cards than what I'm already running. So Ancient Warriors are an archetype that are very, very different from the Marincess deck I usually play with the Winged Dragon of Ra. It is generally just pure Ancient Warriors. They are Beast Warrior cards, so they do have synergy with other archetypes like Tri-Brigade. But pure Ancient Warriors, they are a going second deck. They are an OTK deck, just like a pure Winged Dragon of Ra deck would be. And, unlike Winged Dragon of Ra or Numeron Dragon, Ancient Warriors are more like Numerons, and that their objective is to kind of swarm the field with monsters and beat you down in one turn. They do this with a combination of monster effects and continuous spell effects to get all these bodies onto the field. So before we even go into combinations with the Winged Dragon of Ra, we're just going to look at a pure Ancient Warriors beatdown, so you get an idea of how that part of the deck works. Winged Dragon of Ra plays aren't going to work if you don't know how the deck functions by itself. Same with Marincess. It's not as complicated. This deck is not, again, pure Ancient Warriors is not as complicated as Marincess. It does not rely on the extra deck either. You really only need two extra deck monsters if you're playing the Winged Dragon of Ra. You want Egyptian God Slime in there. So here we go. So I let my opponent go first. You always choose going second if you're playing pure Ancient Warriors, whether you have Ra or not. And we're playing, this guy, I guess, is playing Mech Knights. So far, I have taken this deck to Plat 1. I'll be honest, I don't have the time or energy to grind on 2 Yu-Gi-Oh! Masterduel accounts and live the rest of my life. I started off grinding on this account for, I think the first 2 weeks of the season and then basically stopped. So I'm quite confident that this deck can make it to Diamond. I'm not sure how far into Diamond it can really get. Maybe if you try combining with, Tri-Brigade cards or something, it'll work better. I really don't know. I don't consider myself an expert on this archetype by any means. If you have any ideas or suggestions, please give them to me. But it's definitely a deck that can take you through gold and platinum pretty easily. It's really quite easy to get through gold. I think this season I'm 14-1 in gold. I'm just about at the end of gold. So I think a lot of folks are throwing to stay in the low ranks in both gold and low plat. So you can climb with literally anything just because of that. So this guy's playing Mech Knights, and I stopped their combo starter with my Imperm. And here we go. So Fire Formation-Tenki here is not an Ancient Warriors card, but it allows you to bring a Beast Warrior into your hand. And here we go. This is the problem with Ancient Warriors. So this is kind of your one-card combo right here. Ancient Warriors, Masterful Sun Mu. You can send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard, and add an Ancient Warriors monster from your deck to your hand. This is a really important card. As I said, starts your combo, but is also very, very vulnerable. Your combo is stopped by a single Ash Blossom. It can be stopped by a single Imperm. And this deck spends a lot of its energy on adding cards to your hand from your deck. So it's also quite vulnerable to Droll and Lockbird, which is very popular right now. The other kind of single card starter is this guy here, Virtuous Lu Xuan. And so the reason I discarded it here and used Sun Mu is you only get its effect if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, which frankly in Gold and Platinum doesn't happen very often. They often end up with a single monster on the board. So weirdly enough, I haven't used this guy's effect too often, to the point where I think I only have 2 in the deck. Alright. Okay, so my combo is stopped, so I just knock out their starter and pray. They draw their starter again. And I stop them again with Ash Blossom this time. They keep their other effect, which is summon a token, but they can't do anything with it. And here we are on turn 4. I draw a not very useful card, but I can use Sun Mu's effect again. It is not an on-summon effect. Okay, whoa. So let's describe what happened there. So, first of all, I added this card from my deck to my hand using Sun Mu's effect. And as you can see, you can put it right onto the field. This card is added from the deck to your hand by the effect of an Ancient Warriors card, including one of the spells or traps. You can special summon it, which is exactly what I did. Also very important is that this card is an in-archetype Omni Negate. If you can send a spell, a continuous spell trap you control, it's an Ancient Warriors one, to the graveyard, and you can negate the activation of a monster effect or a spell trap, and it's a quick effect. It's a good card. But in this case, I take this and Sun Mu, and I link them off into a link 2, and I'll just add in Zhang De here. I know I'm butchering the pronunciation of these guys. I don't know what to tell you. You can special summon him from your hand if you control 2 or more Ancient Warriors monsters. So I took my opportunity. And then I'm summoning the only extra deck monster you really need if you play Ancient Warriors. This link 2, Double Dragon Lords. And it gives you an attack boost for Ancient Warrior cards. You can add an Ancient Warrior card deck from your deck to your hand. And you can send a card from your hand or field to the graveyard and send a face-up card of your opponent's back to the hand. Really great against Dark Magician. You can just send Eternal Soul back to the hand and wipe their field. And Sun Mu has a similar effect. If your other Ancient Warrior monster's effect is activated, you can target a monster your opponent controls and send it back to the hand, which is what I did to that defense mode token. Okay, so first I send their Mech Knight back to the hand, and I bring this guy. You'll see him, Rebellious Lu Feng. You'll see him in future games. You can special summon him from your hand if you control one other Ancient Warriors monster. And he can pop the monster on the field, your opponent's field, with the highest attack points as well. Now, the pop effect you have to be careful about, because you cannot use any monster effect that's not an Ancient Warrior monster effect the turn you use the pop. And that's for the entire turn, not just after you use it. So if you Ash Blossom their Maxx C at the beginning of the turn, and then you summon Lu Feng here, then you actually can't use the pop effect because of that exclusion. That also means you have to be really careful. You can't use Guardian Slime's Graveyard effect, for example. Or you couldn't even use Winged Dragon of Ra's effect, right? So, alright. So, no Winged Dragon of Ra here. I just use those 3 monsters to beat down my opponent and end the game on turn 3. Okay, now we're going to go through a few games where I play the Winged Dragon of Ra. So, Alright, here we go. Not the best hand. Not a terrible hand, not the best hand. Okay, so we're playing Dark Magician, and we stop their Dark Magician combo with a single Ash Blossom. They set 2. Alright, and we do draw an Ancient Warriors monster. And alright, here we go. I activate the True Sun God, and I bring Guardian Slime to my hand, and you'll see why in a second. Okay, activate that continue spell, and then just wipe their back row. Probably should have wiped the back row before anything else. And they stop. They counter-trap me with Dark Bribe. This is, it makes perfect sense for a Dark Magician player where Harpie's Feather Duster is your #1 enemy. When you rely on your Eternal Soul and your Dark Magical Circle to keep your opponent in check. So, okay, makes sense. So, now we're going to have to be very careful about that other back row. So, it did let me draw a card, and I drew another continuous spell, which is absolutely perfect. So, this, and you'll see, this is why I drew Guardian Slime. So, this continuous spell allows you to special summon an Ancient Warriors monster from your hand, and not for cost, but as the effect, you take damage equal to its level times 100, which means you can... This card effect triggers Guardian Slime's effect, and you can special summon it on your turn. And then this Ancient Warriors card allows you to normal or when you normal or special summon an Ancient Warriors monster, you can target that one of those monsters and add an Ancient Warrior monster with a different name from your deck to your hand. You can special summon a card from your hand to send it to the graveyard. Okay. So I use that effect, and I chain Guardian Slime's effect to stop an Ash Blossom. I then summon Egyptian God Slime. Then I use Ancient Chant. And then I do so that the cost for this is send a continuous spell trap to the graveyard. And I do that just to be extra cautious in case I need to attack with my special summoned Ancient Warriors cards to finish the game. And also because if I activate this effect, I activate Sunmu's secondary effect of being able to send a card back to a monster back to the hand. So now I have a clear field, and before I summon Ra, I get my Omni Negate onto the field with Sunmu's effect to bring it to my hand, and thank the Egyptian gods that I brought my Omni Negate to the party, because we've got a Dimension Wall in our hands. It's basically Magic Cylinder, except it does not target. Believe it, you can count on Dark Magician players to play old school traps, old school battle traps like Mirror Force, Magic Cylinder, Dimension Wall. So I was justifiably cautious about the back row. I always am extra cautious. If you watch my Marincess and Ra videos, I always try to make sure I have the Marincess trap card in my hand, which makes all your monsters invincible, just in case something terrible happens to the Winged Dragon or Ra. Okay, let's look at one more game. So that game really showcases what little synergy they have. Ancient Warriors and Winged Dragon or Ra. So I think, let's see, this game. Okay, we're playing Math Mech. Oh yeah, this game I barely use the Ancient Warriors cards, funnily enough. So lose out on Maxx C. And okay. You know, there isn't really a perfect place to use Ash Blossom against Math Mech. They just can combo through it 99% of the time. You really can use it either on using it on Parallel Exceed is your best chance. But here they just had too much gas. And you can also use Ash on Alimbertion here. Okay, so this is their conventional Link climb. Do 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 do. Yeah, they're popping off. Okay, wonderful. Great. Awesome sauce. Okay, they got their Link 5, and I think you always want to assume that this is the trap card that lets them Xyz summon and then assume it's the counter trap. So I just Kaiju, and I set my Imperm, can't do anything else. And they Xyz into Laplation again. And yeah, they rip out of my hand, and they're going to take this out. And even if I kept Imperm in my hand, it wouldn't mean anything. You know what? That's not true. If I kept it in my hand, I might be able to use it for something next turn, or would have gone to my hand instead of this guy. So this actually was a slight misplay to put it on the field. But I couldn't use it to negate Laplation here. Laplation's got a secret effect where it can negate a card the turn it's special summoned. Right? Or is that? That's not this one, is it? Yeah, it's Laplation that's got that secret effect. So they would just negate my Imperm if I tried to use it. Okay. So that was the end of my turn, so they get to punch me for over half my life points. Heart of the cards are needed, it's needed here. I get Guardian Slime, so I might just be able to survive. And he goes right into the battle phase. And he ends the battle phase as soon as I use Guardian Slime, which, I mean, he wouldn't be able to get it off the field anyway, but it's just strange. A lot of folks end the battle phase as soon as Guardian Slime hits the field for really no reason. And now he pops off with Signet Mining, which is really strange, but I guess he was playing around Ash Blossom. If he had tried to, combo before attacking, before Guardian, seeing what my last card in the hand was. But now he's going to go off. So he makes his access code talker, but he doesn't destroy my Guardian Slime. Okay, I mean, it's just going to let me put Egyptian God Slime onto the field. And I pick up True Sun God, and I don't have the life points to OTK. So I destroy one monster by battle, and then I use True Sun God to pick up Sphere Mode and just take out his entire field. And I can't summon Lu Feng here, so I just summon Ra and finish my opponent off. Not sure what that face down was. Maybe it was called by or something. No, they would have used it. Okay, let's try one more match. You don't want to see matches in bronze. So that was really just a Wing Dragon of Ra match. Not so much a hybrid match. Okay, I'm going second. And we're set up very, very well here. And we're playing Labyrinth. Okay, another real deck, and they set a card so they can use Big Welcome and put this face down card back in their hand when they summon, Big Lady or Lovely. Okay, so Lovely already going ham. We're gonna imperm her, and she also won't be able to bring a trap back from the graveyard, thanks to the imperm. All right, now I get to play Pot of E. Maxx C coming down. Lab players always seem to have Maxx C in their hand whenever I play them. Okay. That was a great draw. And all right, here we go. Adding to the hand. And we've got our Omni Negate on board. And we're going to try to spin the Lovely back. And thank the Egyptian gods, we have our Omni Negate to stop their Dogmatic Punishment, which would have sent Elder Entity Intis into the graveyard for 2 pops, not just 1. And we discard Guardian Slime. And here we go. Use Ancient Chant to bring Ra to the hand. And we are just going to tribute our 3 monsters and finish off our Labyrinth player. Kind of lucked out that they only, a couple cards that they could set. But there you go, another victory against a real deck. Got to see those Ancient Warrior cards in play. Alright, well, that's all for this video. As I said, this is just, some messing around on my Smurf. So, again, if you have ideas about how to improve the deck, I'll put the list in the description. That would be wonderful. Alright, bye-bye.